Hello guys, welcome to Two Minds Drink Alike, episode number 2, and today we're going to talk about why choose hospitality. So why did we choose the route of hospitality and why you should choose the route of hospitality. We're going to start off quick because Emily's sorbet is melting. I'm just going to make a quick drink and we're going to sip it through the episode.
Yeah, I'll probably make.
So Emily's just going to drink it all and I'm going to watch her drink water.
So we have some lemon sorbet in the glass, preferably in the freezer, but different setup today.
So this is a drink that we use for our welcome drink in the launch party. So if you were lucky enough to be invited there, you've tried it, now you're going to make it at home.
So we're going to do 40ml of Titanic whiskey, and then we're going to do 20ml of cucumber juice. And so to keep this nice and fresh, we just juice the cucumbers and then added in some vitamin C. So this is a little twist on a classic Irish made cocktail. Just my own wee twist. Because normally you muddle the cucumber in and there wouldn't be any lemon sorbet, it would be lemon juice. And then we have a little bit of elderflower cordial as well. So I'm going to do 15ml of that.
This is almost like your little serve, isn't it? Like your perfect serve.
Almost. I just love any cocktail with sorbet. And then I'm going to grab a big load of ice. I'll reach your arms.
Do you want hands?
Oops, okay. Might just take a couple. So this is definitely something you can make at home if you fancy juicing quite a few cucumbers. And then lemon sorbet you can get in most shops as well. If you want to be fancy, you can also add in a little bit of prosecco on top. But nothing here really needs to be shaken, so just kind of stir it all down, keep it cool.
So beautiful.
Do you want to tell a story of where you got the sorbet?
So
Tell the phone.
Jack put the sorbet in the freezer, but it was actually a fridge. So by the time it actually came to shooting this video, it was water, lemon water. So I was sent off down the road there, down to the SSE arena to source some lemon sorbet. I think I've done a good job, it's still intact. That's just a beautiful colour. So what would you say, fresh, refreshing?
Fresh, floral, freshen, and a nice good measure of whiskey in there as well.
So ladies first?
Yeah. That was a very small sip.
It's beautiful. Really
Nice,
good.
yeah, fresh.
Really, really good.
Oh yeah. Do I need a wee teaspoon as well?
I'd love to try a bit of that sorbet. I think I deserve a bit of that sorbet after.
Oh, did you tell them where you got the sorbet?
It was Titanic Desserts. Lovely spot.
So essentially I didn't want to have to change the drink. I was very set on this drink, so I was like, we can find some sorbet. So Jack ran over to SSE Arena and bought like a big cup of sorbet.
Caught in the rain.
So to get into the episode, I'm going to ask Jack, why would you choose hospitality?
For me, I think hospitality was... It means a lot more than just serving people. For me, it was, the structure, like having your uniform, being on time, all these things that I learned through hospitality, especially when I got to the merchant.
Being on time?
Well, just about. But yeah, I think it's discipline. I really, I always said when I started, like, I hated it, but now it's got me into some routine where I always have to iron my clothes, always have to be on time.
Always have to wear black socks.
Well, black socks, I'm still trying to get that there today because I just don't like black socks. But yeah, what about yourself, Emily? What makes you think?
For me, it was always like, anytime I was working a hospitality job, the shifts went so fast and I always like went home wanting to learn more. So even whenever I first started off, I was always like, what could I try and be a little bit better at? What could I learn? So like whether it was getting a bit more into wines, researching a bit more about food or flavour profiles, there was always something else to learn. Like you never knew everything. So even now, like I just completed my WSET wine level 2 and there's so much more I can do.
Well, for me, I feel like when I started hospitality, it wasn't really looked at as a career as a whole. But now I feel like it's getting people around the world, it's getting us traveling, like we were in Malta. I think it's really good for that kind of aspect now. Whenever I started it, my dad always said to me, like, get a proper job. And it wasn't because he didn't like me. He just wanted me to have something that I could fall back on, like mechanic or engineer, footballer, the dream. But I really feel like hospitality is considered a career. And I think that came back from lockdown. And everyone thought they could go home and make their own cocktails, and they understood that it's an actual art, cocktails, and it wasn't just like putting these flavors together and that's it. There's more to it.
Yeah. For me, it was definitely about like the opportunities, as Jack says, that you get with hospitality. Obviously, traveling to Shanghai was a really great opportunity, but that also came with a lot of pressure. But as Jack mentioned, we went to Malta. So Love Belfast, who we also work with, very kindly invited us to Malta to one of their hotels, and we got to create their cocktail menu. So for us, like, we're getting to travel to somewhere new, so bartending is always a great job. You can go to any country and you can bartend. And we got to meet new people, see a new city, and also just another creative outlet. Like, the kind of culture over there and the style of drinks is very different, so it just keeps us always learning. So there's always opportunity to travel.
See, I don't know about you, but when I first started hospitality, I was really shy. Like, I was a really shy young lad. But talking to people day in, day out, meeting people, like, it got me used to speaking to people. And made me the cocky person I am today, I guess.
I definitely had to pretend not to be shy, and I was pushed to be more confident, because the very first job I worked in, like, there wasn't really many women who worked behind the bar. It was mainly men, and also, like, it was a long time ago, so, like, chefs were still very loud, through things, not happy. Nightclub is a very high pressure environment. People want you to be working fast, and also it was like a small independent hotel, so whether you could be on shift just if you had one other person, might not necessarily be a manager there. So something goes wrong, you have to fix it, and you have to really, especially in an environment where you might look quite young, and you might be like a female as well, in like a quite a rowdy nightclub environment, or like a hotel where someone's maybe not happy with something. You really do have to like build that confidence and kind of lift yourself up a bit.
With the confidence comes like 50% of the job. Like, if you show confidence in what you're doing, then the guests will start trusting you with what you want to do. And if you say, believe me, try this food here, they're going to order it. And once they order that, they're in the palm of your hand, and then you can serve them anything.
Yeah, well, I guess another thing for me is meeting people as well. Jack was actually the one who made a really good connection with Christian, who works for Titanic Distillers. And he's a brand ambassador, but he also runs his own company page called Coast of Pour, where they promote like cocktails in the North Coast, cocktail competitions in the North Coast, and like brand work as well. So him and Jack became quite close, and we also that enabled us to grow connection in Portrush and that surrounding area that we would have never really travelled down to before, and didn't really know that there was like cocktails down there. For example, they have like
even the other night at the launch night, like, there was a load of people from the North Coast. They made their way up to Belfast just to kind of show support. It's amazing. Like, we kind of look at like Belfast, but we need to look around that as well.
Yeah, look at Ireland as a whole.
Yeah.
But because another thing obviously came with making that connection with Christian was like seeing bars in the North Coast. There was one in particular called Contiki Boat Bar, which is
where Kelly used
to be. But Christian's friend and Christian and a couple of others, Ashley, who's a really good bartender as well, opened the bar, and it means they're able to do drink specials, and it is like a really cool small spot that you wouldn't know about. So I think for us it helps grow up connections. We know more places to go to and recommend to people, and the more connections.
What was it like going in? Like, we weren't expecting this. Like, Christian was like, "Oh, I'll come up to this bar," and we never actually heard much about the North Coast until he says, "You have to come up." So we're like, okay, we walked in, and we were blown away, weren't we? Like, the standard of the drinks. What was on?
How friendly everyone was as well.
And there was like an open mic night?
Yeah.
There, that was amazing. That was really good. So I would choose hospitality. The social aspect's great, the communication side, but also, like, when you come to the likes of the merchant and you work in the merchant, you almost for me, like starting a business was something that was way out of my thought. I never came from a business background or knew anything about it. And if I told my mom, no, I want to start my own business, she would have went like, no, like
everyone did laugh a little.
Everyone laughed and kind of, it was kind of like something that Jack would never do. But when you meet these people that are business owners, multi-business owners, and they come in and they're like, it's £50 to start a business. I never knew that. I didn't even know where to go. But just by being present in the merchant and meeting these people that were helping me, just made you want to push forward and do more.
Yeah, and especially like we're all really lucky in Belfast because people are really friendly and people are always willing to help you. Like we were doing Jack was actually doing a wee event in the North Coast, and the Elven Rock very kindly let us use their hotel space. Like they let us stay there. They told us all about how they started their business. Like they made us feel like we were staying in their house for the night.
Yeah.
Which not everyone is as lucky, but that's what hospitality is about. Yeah, like not only did they serve us like a good cocktail, but they also told us like the story of their hotel, a story about them. They let us stay. So yeah, for me, like there's so many reasons, but I think community is definitely one of them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's quite flexible in a way. You could be part-time, and it's like
it's going to be that way. Yeah.
I started off part-time. I thought I was moving to America to be some football coach, but realistically, I just fell in love with making people happy, and somewhere at the bar is somewhere you can do that. Food is something you can do. Everyone's out to have a good time, and you're there to make that time fun. So,
yeah, and I think like the more connections you put yourself out there to make, like the more you'll get back, and you can always work like in two ways. Like you can help someone with something, and they'll help you back. And like another thing that I obviously love is like the creativity side, which I wouldn't forget. Like I take a lot of inspiration from other people and of like different books. And different podcasts myself, like the Cocktail Academy podcast is one that I've always kind of followed, which has inspired us to do a podcast, just seeing that there is like people out there who want to hear that kind of thing. But for me, like being able to be creative in your job is really important. Like any bar that I've worked in, if I bring an idea, they're always open to try it, see if it works. And it makes you do want to go home and research and post your own drinks, let's say whether it's on social media or just making your own wee book.
And there's so much room to grow in hospitality, like starting off as agency could bring you right up to GM someday if that's what you want to do. But when you get into you think of hospitality, we're still in hospitality, we work in cafes. I wouldn't have considered it as hospitality until I started working it, and it made me realise this is still hospitality, you're still being hospitable. And I think that was the reason why we wanted to go to cafes as well, to kind of still have that interaction.
Yeah, like the cafe I work in is actually right beside the merchant. It's super busy, and the guys who own it are really lovely to me. They're always willing to help if there's because obviously they run their business, they're always willing to help if I have any questions. It's really interesting being able to learn be able to learn another part. So say now you know cocktails, you can learn coffee as well. And one of the girls I was working with is actually competing in the coffee competition a couple of days ago. So whether you learn one thing, you can just keep learning different things. And there's so many goals you can achieve. Like we want to do a book together.
Yeah.
Obviously, we wanted to do this podcast, and I know it's here.
It's it. It's just a thought, and then it comes to reality. And it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Another reason that I would definitely choose hospitality is obviously you can grow your confidence through competing in cocktail competitions. Like I'm the least competitive person ever. I tried all different sports. I tried gymnastics, dancing, swimming, everything.
What was your role in the what do you call that thing you were playing?
Oh, netball.
The netball,
Just the person who stood on the side and blew
the whistle blower.
Yeah, that's the only thing I was allowed to do in school. Like I had I was not good at any sports, but I was good at gymnastics and I was good at dancing. But I was always really, really shy in the competitions, and no matter how much people tried to push me, I just knew like it wasn't that type of competing wasn't for me. But when it came to cocktail competitions, like the very first competition I done, I did get really, really nervous, and I was like, I don't have to do it. Like no one's telling me I have to do it. And I just sat at the bar instead, and I was like, I'm not doing it. And there was a guy that worked in Muriel's bar at the time called Jamie, and he came down and he was like, no, you can do it. Like, I believe in you.
What competition was that?
It was Whitney Neal.
Whitney Neal.
he was like, you can definitely do it. Like, you're overthinking it, just come up. And I was like, that's so strange because we're like meant to be competing against each other and you're trying to help me out.
Yeah.
And then I realised that like actually everyone is just there for a bit of fun. Obviously, if you win, great. But like he was quite willing to help me and he really pushed me and I actually ended up coming second in the competition. And I was like, what, that's so strange. And then I just kept entering competitions, but not really for the like need to win, but more for like the different like connections I was building. And the more I entered, the more ideas that came into my head, and the more I see other people's ideas and heard their stories and like what coaches they were
It's like
doing.
me in the Red Hands competition. When I didn't win, I was like, that's it, I'm done. And a couple of days later, Emily was like, no, like, take what you learn, take the feedback, and go again. And again, competitions, it isn't about winning, it's about learning and meeting friends. Like the people that I'd met from those competitions were amazing. Some of those people even showed up to the next competition in Sweps in Dublin. I was going down on my own and I was nervous, and next minute there's people there that came to support me that I didn't even know were coming. So again, that networking and that kind of friendliness of the hospitality industry, the competitions have brought us more connected to Dublin as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like now we would go to Dublin and we would know like what bars to go to. A couple of food spots as well, but we would know what bars to go to and they would recommend us different places. And it's also just nice going somewhere and you see friendly faces and like you can you can go to the bar by yourself, you can have conversation, which is something.
Because for me, like when I first went to Dublin, I hated it because it was just like too busy, didn't know where I was. Like every street looked the same, and then when I got shown around by a brand, and it was like these people were going, I work here, call in sometime, I work here, and it's kind of then you start talking. I couldn't tell you a street in Dublin, but I could tell you where the bars are. You know what I mean? Like that way. So it's nice.
Yeah. So and then like also another thing we definitely like apart from running your business or like being creative, you also can work your way up in hospitality quite well. Like if you're determined and you're always willing to learn new things, like something I always find is someone who's willing to keep learning will progress the way up. Like whether you start like as you says like glass collector, as I did, like you can work your way up to manager. It just takes like that wee bit of extra learning at home, or that wee bit of like
just a bit more care.
Yeah, and like wanting to help others as well, like push others shows that like you're willing to work with people and not against people.
100%.
What was your experience like being a supervisor?
Being supervisor, it was great, being like 19 and wearing a suit and walking around, but I could have easily stayed in that position and went, yes, I'm a supervisor. I'm happy to wear the uniform and tell people off or, be the bad guy now and again. But then I soon realised when lockdown did happen, like what I learned that year was nothing different than what I knew after that. So I could have sat in that position comfortably, but I realised that there was more out there to hospitality that I needed to learn. Because if I was 19 as a supervisor teaching people how to do catch-ups that are maybe 20 years older than me, like I just felt like there was a lot more to learn, and that's why I made that transition into the merchant. I was right. Whenever I got to the merchant, it was like, you're on the glasses, mate. So it was kind of humbling, but I kind of knew that I needed to be in there. I feel like a lot of people hold the role as, this is, I want the jacket essentially, but there's a lot more to it. Like if I was you and you were in hospitality, I wouldn't sit comfortably in that one position. I would be proud to take that kind of step down in a higher standard. For me, I took a step down, but then I took a step up, and it was like waving like that. But
one thing I realised as well is there's a lot of like different types of bar. Like yes, you have like the high standard bar that will do really classic cocktails, but a lot of dive bars are also really really good. Like some of the best cocktail bars out there are more relaxed kind of vibe and more laid back kind of cocktails, and also some pubs now are starting to do.
I'm going to ask you, what's your favourite bar in Belfast?
What's my favourite bar in Belfast?
Favourite bar in Belfast? Tell them.
The Garrick.
Oh, that's a great bar. You know what?
But the reason I say the Garrick is because they're always really welcoming. You can bring your dog in.
Yeah.
Pub grub's good.
Garrick's class.
They do good Belfast coffee. They do. I haven't tried their cocktails, but I know they're working on some.
They're working on it. Sit tight. It is going to be good. I think so.
Good selection of whiskies. I would say the Garrick would be my go-to pub, but Rattlebag would be my go-to cocktail spot.
Favorite cocktail bar?
It would be Rattle Bag.
right?
Yeah.
Has to be Rattle Bag.
Like Chris,
I haven't been to Margot yet though. I want to go to Margot.
I have always had like a really good connection with Matt, because Matt and Paddy done the first, not the year one road class, but the year before that. We were all going together. And
Oh yeah, you told me this.
I couldn't carry my, like we we accidentally met at the train station. We were all getting the same train. But I couldn't carry my suitcases. And like I was like, we're all competing against each other, like they're not going to want to help me. They lifted my suitcases for me. Paddy brought me for lunch after the competition was over, and that kind of grew my connection. And like anytime you do pull into Rattle Bag, they always have something new for you to try.
Very welcoming, yeah.
Really good music, nice atmosphere. That would definitely be mine. What would yours be?
You know, I have to follow suit. You know, I have to follow suit. And those two, they were very.
What about favourite pub?
Favourite pub, I do love the Garrick. Madden's is great as well. And then even outside of the city, you know, you've got Post House. Shout out to Paulina. Post House is very good.
Yeah.
Like for a Sunday kind of day watching the football. Yeah. There's those. The jegging.
What was your favourite food spot?
Favourite food spot. Pick it.
Oh, okay.
Pick it. If you haven't been to Pick it, you have to go to Pick it. What's yours?
Hugo.
Hugo is great as well. I think I've spent my last 3 birthdays in Hugo, right?
Yeah, we have spent our last 3 big occasions in
Hugo's
Hugo.
great. There's so much though. There's so much. The Focacceria. Drip. Obviously it's drip. I love Juco as well.
I was going to say, you just picked Drip over Juco.
I think Drip has a soft spot in everyone's heart. So guys, I want to take this opportunity to invite one of you guys on the show. If you feel interested, if you want to come along, kind of show off your business, kind of tell us what you're doing, please feel free.
Yeah, the next episode is going to be about how to build your own cocktail. A lot of people do struggle with how you can create something that's your own, because obviously nearly every cocktail in the world has already been done. Like there's books and books, websites and websites of cocktails, but how you can make a cocktail your own by taking one that exists and giving it your own little twist. Mm-hmm. How you will build up those flavours and like different ways to be sustainable rather than using fresh citrus. And then, as Jack says, please get in contact if you want to come on the podcast. We have a couple of special guests lined up, but we want to get as many people from Belfast, Ireland on the podcast and make it a bit of a community hub. One more question. What's your favourite cocktail book to read? Favourite cocktail book to read? How to Batch. Okay, mine's in live. There we go. Good night. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.